Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Amie Donald about M3GAN, a film that's been taking the world by storm. Going to be available to stream soon on Peacock as well. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
It's really exciting. I mean, you know, this project, when it was announced, there was so much buzz about it. People love it. People have been enjoying that it's a horror movie with a lot of kind of fun things in it. There's a lot of dancing, and, you know, you are responsible for a lot of the dancing we see in M3GAN. So I find it interesting. So I want to know, because you're performing as M3GAN, you don't have speaking, you're not speaking as M3GAN because Jenna Davis does the voice. Was there an audition for this? Like, what can you tell me about how you got the role?
So there was an audition, and in the audition, I still had to say the lines, but Jenna did the voice, which was amazing. But we went into the audition, and it was quite a quick process. The first audition was a self-tape, and then a couple days later, they asked me to come in and meet Gerard, which was really awesome. And he came out of the audition, and he was like, "Can I give you a hug?" Yeah. And then I think that Saturday we found out that I got the role.
I know, it's pretty crazy. So when you auditioned, you had to do the speaking, basically.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
then my follow-up question to that, Amie, is when you get the role, how do you prepare for all that kind of performing and dancing and, you know, all those like, was it considered like it was? I mean, there's some things where it's not the full stunt, but there's a lot of kind of like acrobatic moves you had to do basically for this. So what was it like preparing for that when you got it, basically knowing you didn't have speaking roles? Was it different?
Well, it was very different because it's my first big movie, and I had Luke Hawker and Jed Brophy, who were my movement coaches, and they were amazing, and they helped me become M3GAN because Luke Hawker, he was in I Am Mother,
Yes.
and he was a lot in that movie, so he taught me how to become M3GAN, and me, Jed, and Luke, we sorted out how M3GAN's personality was together. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, it's so great. I feel like the movie didn't even come out in theaters yet, and like TikTok was taking the world by storm by the M3GAN dance. And it's crazy because you're kind of looking all at that, and you're like, you probably talk to your family, you're like, that's me. Which is awesome. You did spend a lot of time with Violet McGraw, correct? You had a lot of chance to, and you both have become friends. What was that like, kind of working with Violet on M3GAN?
It was amazing. I love Violet. She is so awesome. It was kind of like as soon as we saw each other, we kind of like knew we were going to be friends. And then the more time we spent together, we became closer and closer and closer. And now she's one of my best friends. And I love Violet. She's amazing.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, for sure. And it's cool because there's a lot of kind of the behind the scenes photos that both of your Instagram accounts kind of put out there, and you can see it. It's pretty crazy. There's that photo of both of you where you're wearing the M3GAN wig, but then people don't see. I think you know what I'm talking about. That's a good one for sure. It's interesting because I want to go back to, you know, the dancing, because I find that even for people that like have or haven't seen the movie, there's like the dancing, but there is a lot of kind of like, you know, there's some running that M3GAN does, and there's a lot of kind of abrupt movements and everything, right? I was just curious, like with the dance part specifically, was there like, what was the choreography like? Was it a lot of practice? Were you able to improvise a little bit with some of the things? Like, I'm just curious about that a little bit.
So it was quite funny because the dance was never in the script, and Gerard one day he kept looking at all of my dancing, and he was like, let's just add it into the movie. And so he contacted us and said, hey, would your dance teacher be able to choreograph the dance? And we were like, yeah. So one afternoon we went down to the dance studio, and we had, I think, we had a couple of different variations of the dance, and we sent it to Gerard, and he picked his favorite one. And yeah, it's really cool.
Wow. Okay, that's like one of the most iconic dance numbers ever, and it wasn't in the script. That's crazy to me. Okay, so then I do have to ask, because again, it's tough to do these interviews because we don't want to spoil, but if there's a very good chance that the people that are watching this interview have watched the movie, but just in case, spoiler alert, because we have interviewed Jen and we have interviewed Violet as well on the show. The scene in the woods with the little boy, there's a creepy walk basically in that, you know what I mean? Was there choreography for that basically as well? Because that wasn't really a dance, right?
No, it wasn't a dance. There was no choreography for that, but me, Jed, and Luke, we were going over the script in one of our like lessons, I guess you could call them. So we were going over the script, and that's when there was also the Cobra Rise. So we had Ike, a stunty, and he was so amazing, and we did that all together, and it was cool because that was the first time I met Brandon, Jack, and then so that was really fun, but it wasn't choreographed, but it's really fun because we're like, let's see how we can do an animal run. So yeah.
Well, no, I was just thinking that's exactly it, because it's a specific, and I wasn't even sure if that was like this, like it was some of it is the stunt, like the stunt double, and some of it is you, or is it mostly the stunt double that, or was that mostly you?
I did my own stunts. Yeah.
Sometimes you're not sure. Like, I've done interviews before with people. I was like, wow, that looked like a pretty cool thing. And they were like, thank you, but it was my stunt double. So like, I don't want to assume. So that whole kind of sequence at the end basically was mostly you basically. That was all you basically. I mean, again, I don't want to like spoil things, but there was some crazy things at the end of that movie. Like do you have very quickly, before my other two questions, do you have a favorite part of the movie that you had to perform?
My favorite was definitely the dancing, because I got to do something I really loved with my dance teacher while filming on set. So I thought that was my favorite.
Absolutely. And it's pretty cool that you were able to like dance, do stunt work on this, and it's all storytelling and everything. That's the best part about this whole thing. I just want to know, because the impact of this movie is like incredible worldwide. There are so many fans of M3GAN. What's it like being part of a film like this that's just continuing to kind of be popular and popular, Amie? I'm just curious about that.
It's so amazing. I feel like so honored to be a part of M3GAN, because it's such an amazing film, and everybody in it did such a great job. It's really crazy.
It's a crazy thing too, because you work on this film, you eventually kind of rap. It's like Amie Donald's rap for M3GAN, woo, right? And then you kind of like, and then you play this like waiting game for a while.
Yeah.
And then it gets like released in the theaters. And then it's kind of one of those, like, that's where it really kind of starts sinking in, right? It's like, wow, like this is a big deal, because people are able to go see us in the movie theater, right? Is that what what was it like that first week when it went to theaters for you and your family?
It was so fun because, well, my brother had never seen the movie before, because my mom and my dad, we went to the premiere and we saw it, but my brother was in Bali. So when he came back, we all went to see it together, and he thought it was so amazing. And yeah.
Getting back to my first question about the auditions and everything, and then you actually land the role, is there anything on the top of your head a little bit that maybe people don't know about in regards to kind of the audition process, or when you kind of filmed the movie? Is there any kind of fun fact, or actually it was going to be this? I mean, actually, you know, I'm asking you this question. You already gave us a fun fact that the dance wasn't in the script, but but any ever like quick fun fact about the audition, or when you actually started filming it? Anything on top of your head?
Well, there is one scene, and going back to the forest, but the scene and I have Brandon's ear in my hand.
Spoiler alert.
We had to redo that so many times because I couldn't flick it off my finger because the blood was so sticky, the fake blood. It was really sticky and it was love, and we couldn't fling it off my hand.
Wow, that's crazy. Getting back to my question too about it being a popular film. I mean, the horror genre is amazing. The horror movie community loves so many horror movies. Is it safe to say that if you had a chance to work on another horror movie, you'd do it?
Yes, 100%.
It's interesting, right? Because like you obviously to get in kind of the mood and the vibe, but it's like there's going to be other projects that maybe weren't a horror movie that maybe you would do the similar things you were doing as M3GAN, right? But it's still cool deep down because the fans are pretty amazing for horror. Like they really love the movie, which is really, really awesome. And Amie, I want to thank you very much for joining me on Popternative. This was great chatting with you about M3GAN. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So the film is going to be, it was announced recently, unrated version is going to be on Peacock in the States very soon of M3GAN, which is amazing. So people are going to be able to check that out. And there's an Instagram account with your name, right? Amie Donald, where people can kind of follow, right? Is it just your name, Amie Donald, on Instagram?
It's Amie Donald _NZ.
Perfect. And there's some cool kind of behind the scenes photos and everything on there, so people could really check that out. Awesome. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. This is PD Beats and Amie Donald, who plays M3GAN in M3GAN. Signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.